Nebraska, the good life. What does the good life mean to you? Does it mean pure water, miles of open fields, fresh crops and beef, and down-home citizens? What if I told you that because of the Keystone Pipeline, our water could be at risk for contamination, our fields full of construction, our animals and ecosystems jeopardized, and our neighbors fighting to keep their own land? So today, after my speech, I encourage you to take action and join anti-pipeline organizations. My first issue of sustainability is pipeline leaks contaminating our water resources. We know that underneath of our soil is the Ogallala Aquifer. It is twice the volume of the Great Lakes at 1 billion square feet of fresh water. Not only does this supply Nebraska with all of our irrigation and drinking water, but 6 other states as well. No matter how sophisticated the technology, nothing is perfect, so this pipeline will leak. TransCanada has a spill risk analysis, and it reads that a leak greater than 50 barrels should not occur more than once every 11 years. Reporter Volvecki says that we have already had 3 significant leaks in the United States. 400 barrels released in South Dakota in 2011, another 400 in North Dakota in 2016, and the most recent leak being 5,000 barrels filled in South Dakota last year. These reports highly contradict TransCanada's predictions. In only a 7-year span, all 3 leaks were greater than 50 barrels. My next sustainability concern is wildlife and their environment, starting with the sandhill crane. This is no stranger to us as Nebraskans. These majestic birds migrate up through Canada, down through Nebraska on their route going south for the winter. Howard from National Geographic says that these birds are already critically endangered. So with the pipeline going through our land, it's estimated that 300 miles of power lines will be up in the sky right through the crane's migration route. Power lines account for 40% fatality rates for the already endangered sandhill crane. Another local bird is the greater sage grouse. Howard also says that out of the 27 known habitats for the grouse, 20 of these have already seen population decreases. These birds are known to be shy and easily disturbed, so the fear is that the construction noise of the pipeline will affect the birds' breeding, again decreasing the population. My third concern is eminent domain. Albion states that eminent domain is a rule under the 5th Amendment that says a state can take private property for public use if they give you fair market value for it. Usually public use is anything for hospitals, roads, schools, but most states do give this access to pipeline companies as well. And this has stirred up a lot of public controversy and shifted the national attitude. Cleve from the New York Times says that the Ohio and Kentucky state courts are getting skeptical whether or not public use should be granted to such companies. West Virginia and Georgia have already voted twice to not allow TransCanada to condemn private land. So what can we do as Nebraskans to get involved? One local organization is Bold Nebraska, based in Lincoln. Last month, they had 189,000 comments opposing the pipeline and the Trump administration for approving the project. Mark Hefflinger, the communications director for the Bold Alliance, said that the Nebraskans who live on the main line route did not receive adequate warning or the chance to a public hearing to voice their concerns, because the pipeline would be going through their personal farms and ranches. Hefflinger also was quoted to say that we will continue to challenge the project to protect our people and our precious resources. Albion from the Rolling Stone reports that in August of last year, Lincoln also hosted an anti-pipeline march. One of the marchers said it was easier to go up the steep hill if you are not pushing the boulder alone. In 2014, stars Willie Nelson and Neil Young played for 8,000 pipeline demonstrators on a local Nebraska farm. Woods from the Virginia Quarterly Review took statements and quotes from local ranchers and farmers, one being Jay Tarnick. He was quoted to say that generations of people have lived on this land, and that alone has produced more economic growth than a pipeline ever could. TransCanada does plan to go through 320 acres of his land, including one pasture where the water table is so high that for much of the year there is standing water. So to conclude, I'm going to again stress our state slogan, Nebraska, the good life. It's our job to keep it that way and keep it beautiful. Because without our water, our land, our neighbors, and our animals, what do we have left? So thank you for listening, and I encourage you to do your part to get involved in these organizations.